This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
You may want to consider shopping through Instacart this winter if you like watching snow more than walking in it, celebrate soup season, or own several pairs of fuzzy socks. Because staying home means staying warm, and some days just scream delivery. So this season, get everything you need right from the comfort of your robe. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Service fees, exclusions, and terms apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hello and welcome to the Nialler9 Podcast. It's myself, Niall, and Andrea Cleary here. Hi, Andrea Cleary.
Hi, Niall, or 9.
Yeah,
How are
somebody
you?
asked me yesterday, sorry, I called you Nialler. It was like on the email, I was like, yeah, no, it's fine. That's what everyone calls me. That is what I am called. I am called Nialler by my dad and other people. So everyone calls me Nialler. So yeah. Welcome along to this week's podcast. As you may know, if you're listening to this already on Patreon, it is a Patreon-only episode, but we will post a preview, and you, if you are maybe possibly listening to the preview, on the main feed. That is to encourage you to sign up to the Patreon, which is patreon.com/Nialler9 every month. Myself and Andrea do a best of the month, and that's for patrons only. We may post the first 20 minutes or so on the main feed, but if you want the full chat, you're going to have to get it on patreon.com/Nialler9 from a $5 a month. Look, there's loads of other perks. I've talked about it loads in the past. Maybe you just need a nudge. Maybe you want that extra podcast every week, every month. Come and find us. Patreon.com/Nialler9. We had some great feedback on your episode last week. The Father John Misty Extravaganza Spectacular.
Yeah.
The 2-hour, definitely the longest podcast we've done in about 2 years, I think. So yeah,
sorry,
but it was great.
Also,
I was really enjoying it. It was just it was a real deep dive into like his lyrics and his artistry and his intent, and I was really, really enjoying it. And luckily enough, we get to do it all again soon on the 25th of September. We are doing a listening party for Father John Misty's album "I Love You, Honey Bear." It's an opportunity for Andrea to further espouse on the artist that we have dubbed the cool big guy.
My cool big guy.
Josh Tillman. I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to discussing more about himself. That's that big romance on 25th of September, 7:00. It's an easy
I'm really excited.
Wednesday evening, kind of chill.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be nice. We'll have a couple of tipples. We'll play the music really loud. We'll talk about it. I'll have to tell you to stop. And
yes.
It'll be great fun. So that's
I got some really nice like Instagram DMs from people saying that they enjoyed that episode. So thank you so much if you did message me and say that you enjoyed it. It was so much fun, and I genuinely did not think I was talking for 2 hours, but
yeah, no,
it goes to show you.
I got really into it, and I listened back again when I was editing it, and I was like, yeah, this is a really good episode. I think it's really
good. Thank you.
So, good. And we saved you. Nialler9.eventbrite.com is where you can get tickets for that. It's from $9.50 per person plus VAT. And if you're a member of the Patreon, you get half price tickets as well. So, or actually, maybe you get freebies. I can't remember. Did I give freebies or did I? Anyway,
join the Patreon to find out.
Yeah. I can't remember off the top of my head. I can't remember. It's at the very least discounted. I always try and give discounted and sometimes free where possible. So yeah, you can get. I mean, you're saving yourself money if you just do that. Sign up to Patreon 1 month and you get a free ticket basically. For the price of it. So yeah, that's patreon.com/Nialler9. Anyway, that's all the business out of the way. We also had I saved you from having to talk about the Fontaines album, Romance.
Thank you.
So on this episode,
I did listen to the episode.
Oh,
though.
Good.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Aoife's always great to listen to.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever had Aoife on before. Aoife Barry.
Did we? I had her on my other podcast talking about Andy Smith on my favorite album.
The person I know her so long that we just should somehow have not had her on the podcast. So
yeah, she's fantastic. And people should be reading. She's doing great. Like she has an excellent book out, and she also is writing very, very regularly in the Sunday papers, and people should be reading her work because she is writing really, really interesting stuff. So yeah, shout out to Aoife.
Yeah,
big fan of her.
So on this episode, we'll be talking a lot about music that we loved in the last month. I did spend a lot of time listening to the Fontaines album Romance, so we won't be discussing that since we did an episode about it. But another thing that happened that I kind of have to address, and I want to address because something sadly, like something very sad. Eoin French, the songwriter behind Talos, passed away last month. Very suddenly, I only heard that he was sick maybe at the start of August, and then it was a couple of weeks later he was gone. This is terribly, terribly sad news. The Cork man, Eoin French, a beautiful, beautiful singer, a beautiful, beautiful soul. I really loved his music and him as a person. Let's play one of his songs from the Talos project. This is called Odyssey.
In this odyssey, it's hard to leave. I won't let them breach. I've got my reasons, so cast out in the cold.
That is Odyssey from Eoin French's Talos project, who sadly passed away on Sunday, August 11th in his native Cork, surrounded by his loved ones. Eoin had been dealing with cancer, mostly privately, and it was all very quick in the end. And what has emerged from me after this, when I was like at the shock of it all, of hearing that he had died, and then spending a lot of time listening to his music, but like mostly just the tributes paid by people who knew him. And I knew him a little bit, but not that well. Like, I mean, I'd know him to see. He was always so warm with me, so nice, such a lovely fella. He was like, how are you, Nialler? You know, he's always like a really lovely fella. I didn't know him well, but I always appreciated talking to him. He had a warmth to him. He always had a big smile for everybody. His music was, you know, very glacial, very interesting. He had this beautiful voice, as you can hear there, the falsetto that he had. He was like a burly man who, like, you know, gentle kind of giant. Really, really like lovely fella. Like, I've been writing about his music since he was in the band Hush Warcry and then Talos. So to see him go and that band to really grow from over the course of like 15 years almost, and to become hugely popular and touring, and then all of the people that he played with, who he had around him in Cork and West Cork, very much like a community of people. And, you know, he had a funeral at Connolly's in Lep in West Cork the week, instead of it was a wake essentially, with loads of performances from Irish and Icelandic musicians. I think Olafur Arnalds, who he collaborated with, played. Lisa Hannigan was there. Loads of people. And I just came across that he apparently had organized this himself. Like, he had organized this. His final act was a tribute to, you know, his life and his music and the people that he worked with. And I think it's just so beautiful. Like, what had emerged afterwards is how I knew he had was involved in graphic design and stuff like that as well, but he never stopped working. He was so interested, he was so engaged. He was an artist, a true artist, and he'll be sadly missed, Eoin French. So the family put out a statement saying that there will be new music. As his wish, there will be new music from Talos to share with you all in the future. So we'll get to hear what he was working on before he passed. But terribly, terribly sad. Just 36 years of age. So really, really too young. And I thought we didn't get a chance to really talk about that last month because of our schedules and everything that was happening. So so R.I.P. to Eoin French from Talos.
The light was upon us, covering parts of you. The core was on fire, you reached it before our time. We reached it before our time.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Now, no easy way to segue from that, but I did spend a lot of time listening to Talos last month, and a lot of other things, like I said, the Fontaines as well. Listened to a lot of Father John Misty because of our episode. Also, like, I was delving back into Well, the album that we talked about last month on the best of the month, Claro, and also just delving into older stuff. I've been playing a lot of music in the morning with my son and just like trying to find different things, like end up playing the Upsetters a lot and playing a lot of Nick Drake. But in terms of albums, our first album that we're going to talk about is one that we both picked. And there does seem to be quite a lot of, I wouldn't say it's not hype, but there's definitely a recognition of an artist who suddenly has, I don't know, he's hit on something that seems to have struck a chord with a lot of people, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about MJ Lenderman, and the album is Manning Fireworks. North Carolina singer-songwriter guitarist. I know we maybe played a song that he featured on with Waxahachie earlier this year, Right Back to It. And then I didn't know that he was actually in the band Wednesday as well. I didn't know he was in that. And he's played with Indigo D'Souza as well. But Manning Fireworks is his fourth album, I believe. So what's going on here? What is happening? How come MJ Lenderman is suddenly on everyone's lips?
Yeah, I think this is his third album, but he has a fourth album that is kind of a live album. And those other two studio albums are really, really great. So I think something that happened last year was he released a song called Knockin', which sort of interpolates Knocking on Heaven's Door. And that interpolation of kind of other lyrics is something that is really present on this album as well, though that I'll kind of go through. I made a little list of all the ones I could find. But that song was maybe a bit of a breakthrough for him. It was featured on a good few of the like end of year lists. That's where I first became familiar with him. My annual sit down with Harry, where we go through the Guardian and Pitchfork and a few other lists and listen to the first 30 seconds of every song on the list. And if we like a song, we'll listen to the whole thing. And I remember we got to MJ Lenderman's Knockin', and it sounds cheesy, but even at the beginning, the way that song opens, we literally both looked at each other and we're like, "What is this?" So I've been really excited for this album. Basically all year, he's released 3 songs from this album. One of them got a music video, which was sorry, I need to get the list up here. She's Leaving You, which I think I actually featured earlier this year, song about sort of midlife crisis, a midlife crisis story about a divorcee that reminded me a bit of the I'm your stepdad vibes, not musically, but in vibes. Actually, maybe we could listen to
Ferrari and sing the blues. Believe
Go rent a Ferrari and
coming.
Yeah. Maybe we can have a little listen to that.
Things you do. Go rent a Ferrari and sing the blues. Believe that Clapton was the second coming. Falls apart, we all got work to do. It gets dark, we all got work to do. She's leaving me. She's
Yeah, so I think I featured that song earlier this year on one of the best of the months, maybe. And it's a great song. I was expecting it to be the best song on the album, and I don't even think it is. The album is so good. It's 9 songs. It's called Manning Fireworks, and it's interesting because I think listening to this album a lot since it came out last Friday, and maybe I'm still in that very kind of Father John Misty space where, you know, in that episode I was talking a lot about his lyrics, particularly to do with his childhood growing up in a very, very religious environment. And MJ Lenderman also grew up in a very Catholic environment and was an altar boy. And that's something that's kind of featured in his music before. Like he's has a song called Catholic Priest on his album Ghost of Your Guitar Solo. But there's also a lot of like stuff about Catholicism and God on this album. And I don't know, I'm just in this space right now where I'm really paying attention to that. I also rewatched Midnight Mass recently as well. So I'm very into like cultural Catholicism at the moment. That's like my like big interest in like Catholicism and music. But in terms of like God and religion, there's great lines on it. You open the Bible in a public place. You open the Bible to the very first page on Manning Fireworks, which is the title track and the first song
I actually
on the
made
album.
a list of lyrics as well from this album because I was like, yeah, this is. I like the music. I will say this kind of alt rock and country stuff. It's not my default. So, but when I do like it, I really like it. Like it's kind of like the best of 90s indie rock with some like Neil Young. And I saw somebody mention the band Drive By Truckers, and I was like, I've never really listened to them. I'm not that familiar with a lot of that kind of like American US 90s indie stuff, but I really like this.
I think there's a lot of country on this album as well, though. Yes, I think country, like a lot of his lyrics remind me of John
Neil Young
Prine.
reference maybe there. So like,
yeah, like John Prine, I think, is kind of all over this, but also even someone like Ben Queller, who isn't a country artist, like an alt rock artist, and a bit of that kind of power pop that Ben Queller does comes through on this. I think lyrically, there's a bit of Andy Schauf, and then kind of sonically from time to time, a bit of Pavement. Maybe not as much on this album, but on previous albums. But I'm returning to my religious lyrics here. Every Catholic knows he could have been Pope. I wouldn't be in the seminary if I could be with you. I'd still take your amazing grace from Wristwatch. Everybody's walking in twos, leaving Noah's Ark. It's a Sunday at the water park. Every day is a miracle. And then Catholic Priest was the song that I was mentioning from Ghost of Your Guitar Solo. But there's also this like this appreciation, I think, that he has of, and CMAT does this as well. And she was tweeting about him and saying that she's an MJ Lenderman stan, and she wants her and all the, I think like her and all the divorced dads that are into him to make friendship bracelets and swap them like Swifties. I will do that with you, CMAT. But this is something that she does, which is referencing his idols, I suppose, his musical idols. Obviously that happened on Knockin', where he interpolates Knockin' on Heaven's Door. But on the song Rudolph on this album, he has a line, how many roads must a man walk down until he learns? It's Blowing in the Wind. I'd still take your amazing grace, as I mentioned. Clapton is the Second Coming. On My Knees, which is one of my favorite songs in the album, Here Comes the Sun, and all the birds all scream, it's time to go to sleep. There's reference to Rip Torn, the Men in Black actor, which is not a reference to other music, but. And then one of my favorites as well from Bark at the Moon, which is the last song on the album. I've never seen the Mona Lisa. I've never really left my room. I've been up too late with Guitar Hero playing Bark at the Moon, which is a reference to an Ozzy Osbourne song. So there's a lot to do with like his, and it's not in that way of like placing himself in a musical history or a legacy that other artists do, that Father John Misty does, and that other artists do. But I think it's more just like painting this kind of music as being something that has soundtracked the experiences that he's singing on this album. And he's got plenty of his own incredible lyrics as well, all over this. But I do really, really like that sort of the use of those songs and lyrics, like some of them the biggest songs from these artists, and just sort of paying a little bit of homage to them, which is really nice. Yeah, okay, let's play another song. Let's hear, I have to go back to my playlist here, sorry. What's the first one on the list there that I had? Let's do Wristwatch is so good, man. Yeah, let's do that. I love how that song sounds. Like it's so.
You have been listening to a preview of the Nialler9 podcast. To hear this episode in full, sign up to patreon.com/Nialler9.
Did you know 1 in 2 women wear the wrong foundation? Matching foundation is hard, but Il Maquillage makes it easy. Take the Power Match quiz to find a perfect match in seconds, customized to your unique skin tone, undertone, and coverage needs. With 600,000 5-star reviews, Woke Up Like This is our best-selling foundation for a reason. Available in 50 shades of weightless natural coverage. And with Try Before You Buy, you can try your full size at home for 14 days. Just pay shipping. Take the quiz at ilmaquillage.com/quiz. That's ILMAKIAGE.com/quiz.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
Thanks for listening to the Nialler9 podcast. If you like what we do, why not consider supporting us at patreon.com/Nialler9.